Federal law entitles all employees to a safe workplace, including the right to a harassment-free work environment. Therefore, it's essential that we be able to recognize workplace harassment and the impact that it can have on our colleagues and employees. Workplace harassment can lead to a number of negative outcomes, including decreased productivity, increased stress, poor morale, and even legal consequences for both the harasser and the employer. Our collective goal as employers and employees should be to create a safe and healthy work environment where everyone feels respected and valued. In this training, we'll discuss the definition of workplace harassment, various examples of workplace harassment, and steps you can take to help prevent workplace harassment. The US Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the Department of Labor define workplace harassment as any unwelcomed and offensive conduct based on an individual's protected characteristics that creates an intimidating, hostile, or abusive work environment. Harassment can involve a wide range of behaviors, including verbal, physical, visual, or psychological actions that degrade, humiliate, or discriminate against an individual. Protected groups or categories refer to characteristics that are legally protected from discrimination and harassment. These include race, color, religion, sex, including sexual orientation, gender identity or pregnancy, national origin, older age, disability, or genetic information, including medical history. Harassment becomes illegal when it discriminates against an individual based on one or more protected characteristics. For the harassment to be considered illegal, it must be severe or pervasive enough to create a hostile work environment, interfere with the individual's work performance, or affect their employment opportunities. Illegal harassment can result in legal consequences for the harasser and the employer. While some forms of harassment may not meet the criteria for being illegal, they can still be detrimental to the workplace atmosphere, leading to increased stress, decreased morale, and reduced productivity. As such, we should take all forms of harassment seriously, as it can damage the overall work environment and potentially escalate to illegal harassment if not addressed. Harassment can occur regardless of the position or status of those involved. Supervisors, co-workers, job applicants, contractors, and even customers can all potentially experience or perpetuate workplace harassment. An individual doesn't need to be the direct target of harassment to be considered a victim. For example, suppose a group of co-workers engage in offensive jokes or discussions targeting a specific protected group, and another employee who is not a member of that targeted group overhears and feels uncomfortable or threatened. In that case, the employee can also be considered a victim of harassment, as that conduct has created a hostile work environment for them. To classify as harassment, there's no requirement for the victim to experience tangible economic damages, such as job loss or a demotion. Harassment is based on the creation of a hostile work environment or negative impact on an employee's well-being, even without financial consequences. Employers can be held liable for harassment that occurs in their workplace, particularly if they knew or should have known about the harassment and failed to take appropriate action to address it. In the following sections, we'll explore different types of harassment and specific examples to help you better understand and identify harassment in the workplace. Now that we have a better understanding of what workplace harassment is, let's explore some common examples of harassment that can occur in the workplace. Being aware of these examples will help us recognize and address harassment when we witness or experience it. Common forms of workplace harassment include verbal, physical, visual, cyber, sexual, discriminatory, and also bullying. Let's consider each form of harassment in greater detail. Verbal harassment is a form of harassment that involves the use of words, spoken or written, to demean, belittle, or intimidate another person. It can take many forms, such as offensive language, inappropriate jokes, derogatory comments, or insults. Verbal harassment can also manifest in the form of gossip, spreading rumours or making false statements about someone with the intention of harming their reputation, causing emotional distress, or creating a hostile work environment. Physical harassment involves any unwanted physical contact, intimidation, or violence towards another person, such as touching, shoving, hitting, or even threatening gestures. Physical harassment can also include invading someone's personal space, cornering them, or blocking their path, or engaging in aggressive behavior that makes an individual feel unsafe or uncomfortable in the workplace. Physical harassment not only affects a person's physical well-being, but can also have severe psychological and emotional consequences. Visual harassment refers to displaying offensive or inappropriate images, videos, drawings, memes, or gestures that can be seen by others and create a hostile or uncomfortable work environment. This can include sharing explicit photos, posting discriminatory cartoons, or making offensive hand gestures. Visual harassment often creates discomfort or perpetuates stereotypes and stigmas related to protected groups. Visual harassment can lead to a toxic workplace culture and cause emotional distress for those who are exposed to it. Cyber harassment occurs when electronic communication tools such as email, social media, or messaging apps are used to harass or intimidate someone. Examples include sending threatening messages, sharing inappropriate or offensive content, spreading rumors online, or sharing inappropriate or explicit images of someone without their consent. Cyber harassment can also involve stalking or monitoring someone's online activity without their consent. As technology continues to play a significant role in our work lives, it's essential to recognize and address cyber harassment to maintain a safe and supportive digital work environment. Sexual harassment is a form of discrimination based on sex or gender and consists of unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, or other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature. Sexual harassment can include inappropriate touching, suggestive comments or jokes, sharing or displaying explicit or offensive images, or making sexual propositions. It can also involve creating a hostile work environment through gender-based comments, objectification, or exclusionary behavior. Sexual harassment can have severe emotional and psychological effects on its victims, leading to feelings of humiliation, fear, and anxiety. Addressing and preventing sexual harassment is crucial for maintaining a respectful, inclusive, and safe work environment for everyone. Discriminatory harassment targets individuals based on their membership to a protected group, such as race, gender, age, religion, disability, or sexual orientation. This type of harassment can manifest through offensive comments, social exclusion, unfair denial of work opportunities, or unequal treatment. Discriminatory harassment not only affects the targeted individual, but can also contribute to a toxic workplace culture that hinders diversity and inclusion. Workplace bullying involves repeated aggressive or intimidating behavior directed at a co-worker or subordinate, which can lead to a toxic work environment. Bullying can manifest in many overt forms, such as verbal insult, public humiliation, and excessive criticism. However, it can also include more subtle actions, including undermining a person's work, setting unrealistic expectations, intentionally setting someone up for failure, or consistently assigning them undesirable tasks. While bullying may not always be directly related to a protected characteristic, it still creates a hostile work environment and can have severe consequences for the target's mental and emotional well-being. By familiarizing ourselves with these examples of workplace harassment, we are better equipped to identify and confront harassment in our work environment. It's crucial to remember that everyone has a responsibility to promote a safe, respectful, and inclusive workplace. Recognizing these different types of harassment is the first step in preventing them and ensuring a healthy work environment for all. Preventing workplace harassment is a collective responsibility. Both employers and employees play a crucial role in creating a safe and respectful work environment. In this section, we'll discuss steps employers and individuals can take to prevent and address workplace harassment. Remember, employers can be held liable for harassment that occurs in their workplace, particularly if they knew or should have known about the harassment and failed to take appropriate action to address it. However, they also have the power to set the tone of a harassment-free workplace. Here are some ways employers can take action. Communicate clearly that harassment will not be tolerated. Make sure your employees understand what constitutes harassment and they're always aware of your company's policies. Provide regular anti-harassment training to educate your employees about recognizing and addressing harassment. Establish an effective reporting process that is confidential and accessible for all employees. Encourage your employees to speak up if they experience or witness harassment. Take immediate and appropriate action when harassment is reported. Investigate the situation thoroughly and ensure that proper measures are taken to address the issue and prevent it from happening again. Individuals also have a role in preventing workplace harassment. Here are some steps employees can take. If you are the target or witness of harassment, clearly inform the harasser that their conduct is unwelcome and inappropriate. You have the right to speak up and protect yourself and others. Report harassment early. If the harassment continues, or if you don't feel comfortable addressing the harasser directly, report the incident to a supervisor, HR representative, or through the established reporting process. The sooner harassment is reported, the quicker it can be addressed and resolved. Being able to recognize the signs of harassment is essential for addressing it effectively and maintaining a respectful work environment. Here are some key indicators to look for. Pay attention to any sudden or significant shifts in a co-worker's behavior, such as increased stress, withdrawal, loss of confidence, or reluctance to participate in work-related activities. These changes could be a sign that they're experiencing harassment. Observe how individuals interact with one another in the workplace. If you notice patterns of exclusion, unequal treatment, or favoritism, it could be an indication of harassment. Be vigilant about spotting inappropriate remarks, jokes, or gestures that target an individual or a specific group. Even if these actions seem harmless or are intended as just jokes, they can still contribute to a hostile work environment and may be considered harassment. If you hear multiple complaints or concerns from co-workers about a particular person or their behavior, it's essential to take these reports seriously and investigate further. If an employee or co-worker appears to be suffering from emotional distress, such as excessive crying, anxiety, or difficulty concentrating, it could be a sign that they're dealing with harassment. By staying vigilant and recognizing these signs, you can help address and prevent workplace harassment before it escalates. Together, we've explored the important topic of workplace harassment, its various forms, and its impact on employees and the workplace. We've learned that harassment can take many forms, such as verbal, physical, visual, cyber, sexual, discriminatory, and bullying. And we've discussed common examples of harassment in the workplace. Remember, preventing workplace harassment is a collective responsibility, requiring action from both employers and employees. Employers must communicate clear expectations, provide training, establish effective reporting processes, and take immediate action when harassment occurs. Employees, in turn, can contribute by speaking up when they witness or experience harassment, reporting incidents early, and being vigilant in spotting signs of harassment in their work environment. By understanding and addressing workplace harassment, we can work together to create a safe, inclusive, and respectful work environment for everyone.